Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. Guys, we're at 1,000 subscribers. In fact, we're over 1,000 subscribers. Want to just say thank you to those of you who have shared my recordings. You comment, which keeps that volume going, and I know who you guys are. Big shout out to Pastor R.C. Blakes. Oh my goodness. Pastor Blakes, I just esteem him so much. I almost feel like, oh my goodness, you see fit to share my recording? Me? Right? So every time he do so, so many of you guys come over and subscribe, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to have you guys on. All right, so I want to jump right in. As you guys know, at least to my season subscribers, you guys email me and I'll just pick random emails and I will just reply when I feel spirit led. There's a few times like this particular topic where you guys have been asking me to speak on, but I just didn't have the nudging in the spirit to do so. So that alerted me that God needed to give me some more downloads before I open my big mouth. So I'm going to jump right in. All right. So you guys have been asking me, several of you actually, to talk on my opinion for signs that God is about to call you to get married. Now, of course, everyone's not going to be able to relate to this. You might get some. I mean, you may not get any. But if it's for you, you will know in your spirit. All right, first thing first. Number one, God will require you to start a healing journey. And I know there are some people out here who feel like they're perfect. They don't have any trauma in childhood nor in adulthood, so they do not need to heal, right? But then you got some realistic people out here who knows that, life happens. You've been hurt a time or two. You may have some childhood traumas, things of that nature. So God will require you to heal before he brings anybody in your life. Before God brings anybody in your life. Of course, we can go and choose whoever we choose, and then, we just bring trauma and toxic. So if God is going to bring the person in your life, he will require you to heal, which in turn will require you many times, if not all, to go in isolation. Isolation looks different for different people, but ultimately, he's snatching everything, including your edges. Isolation is designed to expose to you a lot of areas that are just need to be healed, and different areas that God is going to be working on you in. So, all right, number two, and these are not in any specific orders. Number two, you will not have a desire to date around. Now, hear me. When you're single, you're single. Single is single. If you're not married, you can date who you want to date, unless you guys, of course, have that, that conversation. But single, you're dating around, right? So you can be going from dinner to movies 3-4 times a week if you choose. You will no longer have that desire. And it's not that you're not even meeting these people. You're still meeting people, but that desire has just been wiped away. So it's almost like you'd rather just stay home and watch a movie, right? And you would prefer to be in isolation than to be having these random dates with people that you have no connection to. And it's almost so weird because maybe at one point you might be a really down-to-earth person, so you can go on a date, and even like if there's not like this crazy attraction, you still can have a great fun time. You can laugh, you can act a fool, but that desire is no longer there. It's just been wiped out completely. So now you're meeting people and you're just like, hey, how are you doing? And they're just like, can I take you out? And you're just like, no. You wouldn't say, well, I'll leave that alone. You say what you want to say. All right, number three. You will start to get a lot of different signs. Now, when I say signs, I don't mean like every time you go to YouTube, you're seeing videos about marriage, or you're on Facebook and you're seeing all these different, your kingdom partner. That's algorithm. That means you've just been searching and, they pick up the algorithm, whatever you've been searching. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of that stuff. Unless you weren't searching for it. If you weren't searching for it and they're just popping up on your timeline, then that is a sign. Another sign could be something like every time you go into a store, you're seeing like wedding stuff, like dresses, and you're like, what is going on? You're seeing like pictures of weddings and there's just a lot of wedding marriage talk around you. So you'll start to get different signs and you just can't get away from it, in fact. Number 4, God will start to work on your character and your integrity. Again, we got some perfect people out here, and then we got some other people out here who's just realistic to know that there are certain areas that you got to work on. Character and integrity, that can come in different forms. Are you a very on-time person? Are you orderly? So there's different things. Do you keep your word? Because within a marriage, even relationships, your word is your word, right? If I say I got you, right? But it's your character standing strong and firm in that. So there's many different areas that God may need to work on your character and your integrity. We all are different. You know what that thing is, whatever. All right, cool. Next, number 5, God will start to require you to work on your credit. Start to clean up your debt if you have any debt. You don't want to go into a marriage with $100,000 in student loans and, credit score 145. Go ahead and start working on that stuff now, because that way it can be less stress within the marriage. Because finances is, I think, either the top or the top 3 of the reason why people get divorced, if not the first. I don't know, but start working on your credit and your debt. Now, listen, again, if you came from that background where you were just raised with that rob Peter to pay Paul mentality, because maybe your parents really truly just didn't know. They just knew how to, rob Peter to pay Paul. Like hide the car in the backyard so it don't get repo. If the lights get turned off, run the cords to your neighbor's house and things like that mentality. Listen, you got to do what you got to do, right? But my point is, now that there's another way, even if your family is still living like that, you yourself got to start working on being better, right? You may not have money to clean up your credit. Go on YouTube. YouTube is free, right? Start working on that debt anywhere you could, because you don't want to get married and have a ton of debt and credit just all over the place, right? So God is giving you time to work on that. Again, people don't like to wait, but most times, if not all, the waiting period is like God's waiting on us. We're not waiting on God. God is waiting on us to get it together, honey. Number 6, obedience. Now, of course, you're not married or married yet, or even if you are, God will start to work on your obedience to Him. And I'm not saying, you have to be obedient to your husband. I can hear you guys saying that now. But God will start to teach you how to be obedient to Him, how to sacrifice for Him, how to love unconditionally through God. So even in turn, that can then be a reflection on your marriage. And these are things that you are bringing into your marriage, and you're not all hot-headed and just, So God will start to teach you how to love properly by having a relationship with God. And when you start to realize how healthy and whole that type of love is, because maybe you never experienced unconditional love. So now you've been able to experience unconditional love with your relationship with God. You now can take that into your marriage. Next thing. Number 7, God may require you to get in shape. Now, you notice I didn't say lose weight. I said in shape, because listen, you can be 400 pounds, but if you're in shape, well, I guess I'm exaggerating, right? But you can be 400 pounds. If you're in shape, you're in shape. So I didn't say lose weight, gain weight, just in shape, because, it's a lot of energy, that it's not you anymore. It ain't just you. So you're going to be like, doing more things. Even if God will allow you guys to have a child, you need to have that energy. You got to just be up on your A game with being in shape. Also, being in shape just helps with your mental, it just makes you feel better. You feel better about yourself. It will help your confidence where you're not insecure within the relation or the marriage. So, yeah. Number 8. Ooh, listen, number 8, purging old relationship thingies. like those old pictures, right? That you felt like, okay, we're not together no more, so I'll just put them in a suitcase and put you under the bed. No, honey. Nope. It's time to get rid of those things. Throw them in the dumpster, burn it, do whatever you want to do, right? It's time to erase and delete those numbers and those old text message threads, those long threads from years and years of text. Delete it. It's going to be hard, especially if you're a person like me. Like I'm one of these people like who like believe in like sentimental values. I still got like letters and stuff from like middle school and things like that. Like really, I do. I got like pictures from middle school. I have like these big Tupperwares full of pictures and letters from middle school and high school. So you may have to go through a purging process again, and that may even require you to change your telephone number. I know you had the same number for 20 years, but if God says do it, obedience. Number and truth of the matter is, listen, these people had their time. They had their time. You're not married to them, right? Or maybe no longer. They had their time. So it's almost like, I mean, why would you even want that energy and stuff lingering around? If they had their time, they broke your heart, or maybe it was just a mutual separation, that season is done. So it's almost like it's unfair to anyone new to come into all that other nonsense. Like, just change the number, get a whole new phone. Number 10. God will start to show you how to pray for your spouse. How? Now, some of you have been very clear. You know exactly who your kingdom partners, kingdom spouses are. God have already revealed them to you. Great. Absolutely great. So sometimes it's not even about praying for the person to come. It's about God showing you how to pray for them. Meaning this person could be coming from a heartbreak. This person could have been exposed to a lot of trauma, and they're fighting their own demons. And so God will start to give you downloads on how to pray for them. Not for them, but how to pray for them. Does that make sense? Like pray against certain demons that they may be battling and things of that nature. So some of you may be getting that, especially if you know who your kingdom partner is. God will start to show you different areas where they're affected at, and you got to go in warfare for them, because sometimes people don't even know how to pray for themselves when they're really hurting. All right, number 11. You will start to lose a lot of your old desires. Let's just say, you were someone who liked to hang out or just travel. Like you're the person, you're on a different plane every weekend, you're traveling the world and all that stuff, and that's great. That's absolutely wonderful. And that's not to say that won't come back, because maybe you and your spouse will do that together. But it's almost like the desires that you had, you would do these things all the time. It was the one thing that kept you busy, going out, partying, going to comedy shows, whatever. It's almost like you're kind of turning into like an old maid. Or if you're a guy, like you're just like Debbie Downer type thing. I don't know. But you don't have like that same desire. And even when you do it, it's more now like, wow, yeah, I still enjoy this, but I think I will enjoy it more if I had someone with me. So if I'm on these planes going from country to country, yeah, I mean, that's just one thing that I love to do. But it would be even better now if I had my partner with me. Or even if I'm hanging out or I'm going to comedy shows or whatever your thing is, whatever your deal is, concerts or whatever. Yeah, I used to have fun doing that with my girls or my boys. But I think I will have a more better time now if I do it with an individual. All right, so that's one thing. Number 12. And those are just examples. Number 12. You will start to realize that God will start to help you through your current relationships to work on communication and to work on other areas like patience and things like that. So it's almost like if there are people in your life now, these can be family members, these can be co-workers, this can be your neighbor, whoever's currently in your life now, you will realize that God is starting to use the person to help you communicate better, more effectively, more than what you used to do. And you're starting to get convicted about either your mouth or just cutting people off or not listening, instead responding. And it's almost like, God, where's all this coming from? Because I've been doing this for 25 years, cutting people off. Now all of a sudden I'm getting convicted to let people speak and things like that. Or I'm getting convicted about leaving the job and not making sure that we both were okay after that disagreement, So you'll see that God will start working on your communication and things like that with the people who are currently in your life. Number 13, God will start calling you to mend old relationships. Mend them in a sense of not mend them as bring them back together, but mend them. Well, maybe mend is not the word, but he will start bringing you back to old relationships to make sure that you close them properly. And this can even be an ex. If it left just on this crazy note and like there's almost no closure, not closure as the person never gave me closure and I'm going to just not heal until they give me closure. Not that. More so less like you guys kind of just went your own way, but there was just never like this understanding, or you never really expressed to them why you left them. You just assumed that they would know why you left. And women, we're bad with that. We just assume. We just assume that he knows why I changed my number. He just assumed why I'm over here pouting. He knows. He knows what he did. We're bad with that, ladies. So sometimes if you feel that nagging, again, is conviction, God may send you back to just have that one final conversation. And trust me, they're going to be trying to get back with you. Let them know, we ain't here for that. We are not here for that. Sit down and let me go ahead and say some things. And matter of fact, you go first, right? Let's get this closure. So when I walk away and you walk away, there's nothing dangling in the spirit. No, we need closure, period. No, don't call me. Closure. And these also, again, can be within family members. Just people who you may have had like this history of just kind of, going back and forth, or just constant petty moments. And it's almost like you walked away or they walked away, but it's almost like there's still this little nagging feeling of the box is kind of still not open, but crack. God wants you to go back and just have that conversation and just close it where that door is closed. That way there's nothing left open that can come once you get married, that can come and affect your marriage, or just, you don't want none of that. Let's just start from a clean slate. Everybody got peace. Everybody's happy. And just, embrace the past for what it was and keep it moving. But close those doors. No cracks whatsoever. Number 14. God may require you to relocate. This is huge. Why? For different reasons. It could be potentially because the mate that he has for you is in a different location. Again, some people are very closed-minded and they feel like, not really closed-minded, but I guess they're very comfortable. And it's almost like, I was raised in this small town with 50 people and, I went to school here. Everybody knows everybody at the, gas station. And I'm just going to sit here and, wait on God to send my husband or my wife from wherever, and they'll just come and visit this small little town, and we can eat some pork skins on the front porch. Ooh, child, I'm tripping. And that's not saying you have to relocate, because listen, whatever's for you is for you. It's just that we do have a part to play. So if God says sit right there in your little small town on your rocking chair, then maybe a tour bus will come through there and maybe you will meet your husband or your wife. But if you're feeling a nagging that God is requiring you to locate, there's a good chance that your spouse is in that area. Also, sometimes if you got like a really, really toxic family and friends who you just can't get away from because they're constantly pulling at you and you're constantly stressed out. Your child may have you may have grandchildren, and I mean, you're only there because you're, you got to pick the children up from school, and you got to do this, and you got to take care of big mama, and you got to do this. So your life is true, and I know you love your peoples, but your life is literally just stationary to other people's needs because of the toxic bond. Trauma bonds, I should say. Trauma bonds and things of that nature. So sometimes God will pull you away. He will pull you away from that environment, relocate you, just for you can heal, because sometimes it's hard to heal in the areas that we're trying to heal from. If you're in the environment, it's hard to heal sometimes. So this is why sometimes God will require you to relocate. He may send you back. He may not. So just ask him. He will let you know. But if God is requiring you to relocate, and I know that's hard for some people, that's really hard for some people. You guys have told me. I've had some of you tell me that God, you know that God is requiring you to relocate. Let it be for your business, for your purpose, for your calling, or for whatever other reason. But you're just fearful of the unknown. I get it. But that's why I always say, how bad do you want it? That's going to be like, if you want it bad enough, you're going to have to push past that fear. Because regardless of what the unknown is, if God is behind it, it's like, it's fruit. It's fruit. All right. Number 15, I think. Number 15. God will start to give you a more defined purpose and calling. I think this is for a couple of reasons. For one, your purpose will become more defined, so that when and if God requires you to get married or calls you to get married, you won't lose your purpose within your mate, right? Because sometimes, we can become, when we're in love, we become so entangled and things like that. So you kind of let your purpose fall to the wayside before, if it's not already defined, right? And so you will kind of allow it to get mixed in. And truth of the matter is, there's a good chance God may mix it, he may blend the two purposes, after the fact. But going in it, you need to have your own purpose and your own calling already established. And then if God says mesh them, then you mesh them. But you need to already have yours. Lastly, what am I on? 15 or 16, 17? I don't even know. I think I'm on 17. Lastly, God will, I said this earlier, but God will have you develop a more intimate relationship with God. Specifically, because a lot of people do this without even realizing it, you make your spouse your God. You're so in love to the point that you're idling your spouse as if they're God. So God wants you to develop this personal, intimate relationship with him, so you can learn to love him so much. It's almost to the point of, listen, I don't care how much I love you, but you ain't my God, right? Like that. Because if you're not careful, flesh have us all gone. And so you're sitting here idling your husband or your wife, and the truth of the matter is you need to be idling God. So I hope this helps you guys. If you guys have anything that you would like to add in, if there are certain things that God has required you to do, or if you're married now and there are certain things that you would like to chime in to say that what God had you to do before you got married, please do so. So you guys have a great one. And I can't wait to hear from you. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.